Y'all, it's not good. Let's start with the basics before you cancel me. I've been a Swiftie for a decade and a half. I have given an inordinate amount of money to Taylor Swift. I've been at every tour since Red. I have loved every album she has put out, even if they were not always to my taste. Taylor Swift, the person, is free to be in whatever relationship she wants to any extent, to think whatever she wants, and to do whatever she wants. Your and my interaction is exclusively with Taylor Swift, the brand, because we don't know her as a person. So when I say Taylor Swift in this video, I'm talking about the brand, unless I specify otherwise. You are free to love the album, listen to it as many times as you want, and fully express that opinion. I am free to dislike the album and express those opinions as well, especially on my own page. If that is not something that you want to see, you are free to skip to the next video. Now that we've all had our fill of bean soup, let's proceed. This album has a massive problem with tone, and I know people love to say, don't accuse her of being tone deaf, it's not on her to fix all the problems of the world. She's a pop star, what do you want her to do? First of all, that does go against her history when you consider songs like Miss Americana and The Heartbreak Prince. Second, if you are out to lunch with a friend and you are unemployed, you are struggling to put food on the table, you are worried about having access to your health care, and all they do is chatter on and on about how lucky they are, how rich they are, how wonderful their boyfriend is, it's going to be a little exhausting. It's not your fault, and it's not your friend's fault, but you will leave that lunch tired and probably less likely to see that friend again. And considering how much Taylor has benefited and marketed on that parasocial relationship with her fans, it would have been nice to get some acknowledgement of the problems that most of us are struggling with right now. She's written songs about fans before. She is 100% capable of writing songs for context as part of what made folklore such a success. At any other time, it would not have been received nearly as well. She worked in the specificity of her beef with Charlie XCX, her support of Blake Lively, and yet nothing about specifically the people who are allegedly most important to her. And as much as we must accept the context that she is free to put out a song about wanting a husband and children and a basketball hoop and a house and a cul-de-sac, she needs to accept the context that if she puts that out right now, it is going to feel like propaganda. I personally do not think that she is right-wing, but unfortunately there's a building body of propaganda and policies to follow that are pro-natalist and anti-woman, masquerading as pro-family. They're pushing us out of the workplaces, they're trying to deny us health care, our right to vote has been on the table. And instead of dealing with any of that, which would affect her as a woman, instead the songs we get are eerily, weirdly similar to the propaganda that's being pushed towards us. I know that all these songs about Travis are a reflection of her feeling towards him, but again, she made the choice to take that from her personal feelings into her brand. It's just uncomfortable, and it does not resonate. Additionally, I don't think this album is up to her standards for construction. Historically, she has had a fantastic way of building a story within a song with a unified group of themes that build on each other, and there's lots to dig into. Yes, I find the lack of advanced vocabulary to be disappointing, but more than that, she's starting to ignore the structure and sort of haphazardly grab references, as well as lower the overall reading level. She is free to do that, but if she chooses to, she has to accept the criticism that this is not her usual standard. I do not have a problem with the sexual imagery. My problem is that it's crude and immature compared to False God or Guilty as Sin, which are in my opinion two of her sexiest songs. You can really start to see the lack of care that she put into all of the songs on this album. Those both have a central unified approach, sex with religious imagery, whereas this just feels like a bunch of dick references that you would hear in a middle school conversation. When you're thinking about the fate of Ophelia, even Taylor herself mentioned that it's kind of a throwback to You Belong With Me, which everyone mocked for a while, because you have a story building in it that's very antithetical to the Shakespeare you're referencing, and instead of parsing that and synthesizing that, you're just kind of tossing in a reference to it in the chorus. It's very unskillfully done, in my opinion, especially when we know she is capable of so much more. Again, I'm not telling you not to listen to it. I am saying that I, personally, as again, a very dedicated Swiftie, am already counting down to the next era.